So often we get the question of what is the difference between a virtual receptionist and a call center and a dedicated single virtual receptionist who you would hire individually. So there are a few differences here. One, a call center is going to be a large cubicle-based environment that often has background noise and often is script-driven because there may be hundreds of clients who are assigned to that call center, maybe even thousands of clients. So what's going to happen is you will get a scripted, very robotic sounding receptionist, and there will be background noise that if you are in a small business, you're a small business owner or manager, maybe even small medium business, it sort of betrays your client experience when someone comes in and sees that you're a small business. And then when they call on the phone, it sounds like you're a very large corporate business. Now, we know that most small business owners like that experience that they're able to give to their clients of the hands-on sort of personalized attention and that approach. So what ends up happening when you have a call center that's answering your calls is that people who call, especially leads, get an experience that you're not expecting to give to them and you don't frankly want to give to them, which is, I'm a big corporation and I'm going to run you through a robotic process of answering questions, and maybe you'll get an answer or maybe you won't. So what we recommend is to make sure that your experience is very similar to that of your business itself. So if you have a huge business and they can expect sort of that process-driven, more impersonal approach, then maybe a call center is fine for you. But really, we find that most businesses want a little bit more personality, a little bit more of a natural conversation. So then we get to virtual receptionists, and we get to the individual receptionist. Now, with the individual receptionist, the problem is that person is only as good as they are available. And if anything happens with their availability, it's only slightly better to have one person remote than one person who you would hire as staff, who frankly can probably be trained to do a whole lot more. So if you're looking to bring on one person, can you find someone really comprehensive to do more work for you, more detailed work, more value-adding work? If you're a lawyer, maybe bring on a paralegal. If you're a financial advisor, if you're an IT consultant, if you're a marketing agency, a home services professional like a plumber or HVAC technician, then maybe you need someone who can really do more billing or social media management or assistant work. And that makes more sense to have a dedicated person assigned to, and they might not necessarily need to work 24/7. Now, when it comes to a virtual receptionist service, you get sort of the best of both worlds. You get the scale of a call center, but the personality of an individual. And that's what we're able to do with Smith.ai, is we take the best receptionists and then we assign them to a number of different accounts, but we give them guidelines for calls so that they are not going to be answering calls in a robotic manner, but instead they're going to be answering calls in a way that feels like it's a natural conversation. There is a customized greeting. There is a determination of what to do next on the call based on who is calling. Is it a lead? Is it a client? Is it a vendor partner? Is it spam or sales? And we want to block that number unless it's a vendor of yours that you definitely want to work with on the sales side. So there's a customized approach there, but the really nice thing is that you get that personality to come through. You get a quiet work environment where you don't hear any background noise, right? So when you have a receptionist who's working from a quiet home office instead of a call center, you get to control that environment a lot more. Now, you should always ask, how do you monitor and expect good performance from your team when you're talking to a new receptionist service or answering service of any kind? You want to make sure that people are doing quality assurance checks, that they are doing technology checks to make sure that the call quality will be strong. Nobody wants to have a phone call where the call quality is in and out and you drop calls or you have a fuzzy connection. That doesn't lead to good conversion from your lead calls. It doesn't lead to good experience for your client calls. Now, One of the other benefits of having a receptionist service instead of an individual is that behind the service, you often have a team instead of just one person. So when you have a team, you can have engineers, as we do at Smith.ai, you can have managers, as we do at Smith.ai, and as a result, you have a technology backing, as we do, that can add integrations with your CRM. It can add scheduling opportunities so that the receptionist is using call center technology, but doesn't sound like a call center. So you can imagine during the course of a conversation, when the lead has been asked questions and is qualified, for example, if you're working with an IT consultant, maybe they only work with commercial businesses and not residential. One of the questions that your receptionist should ask when a new lead calls is this a business matter for a residential property or for a commercial business? And if they answer for a commercial business, then maybe you take them to the scheduling step and you have a natural conversation asking, how are you? And all the relevant information that you need to gather in order to connect that person with the business owner, the manager, who's really hiring that answering service to capture and convert their leads, to delight clients while they get work done. And you really want to look for a service that is approximating the experience of in-house. But the benefit is that instead of in-house, you're not paying for a benefits package and salary. You may not have the need for calls to be answered every time by the dedicated receptionist who you would pay to be on staff for you, who may not have the skill set to do these other things that I mentioned earlier. So the benefit of having a virtual receptionist service is that you have the ability to only pay for what you use. You're charged on a volume basis, not for someone sitting in their seat and checking Facebook when they don't have enough work to do. So consider that. Consider also that you have control over where the receptionists are, how they sound. Do they sound like they could be in-house? Call centers these days are oftentimes in a large corporate environment and not necessarily even in North America. So does it sound like they could be at your business? You want to build trust from the very first experience when someone calls in to your business. Now, also look to the receptionist's ability to not charge for spam or sales calls. You only want to pay for the work that's done and also the relevant work that's done. Can they also take that information after a call and put it into your contact management system, your CRM, such as Salesforce or HubSpot? It's a huge benefit to not have that data entry task, again, something you might assign to an in-house person, completely off of anyone's plate, automatically logged with the contact details, the call summary notes, and when that conversation occurred. Now, more and more, we are seeing a cross-channel responsiveness, omni-channel responsiveness. What does that mean? It means that receptionist services are not just answering calls anymore. So while a call center may be dedicated just to phone calls, a receptionist service like Smith.ai is able to answer calls, chats, text messages, and also social media messages like Facebook messages. Now that's a huge benefit because we know that people are using social media to search for businesses and their services to solve the problems and opportunities that they may have. It is critical that you are fast to respond. So you want a service that is 24/7 and that can handle real work on the call, not just answering and transferring, which many call centers will do, but actually scheduling, intake, screening these leads, asking questions of clients so that you can have a technical support ticket request if one needs to be filed because they're having some issue with software products or services that needs to be resolved by some technician in your team. It is important that you evaluate these different criteria when you're looking at a call center or receptionist service or a remote receptionist that you might hire individually.